Hey everybody, it's Christian here, Service First Restoration. Talk to you about drying wood floors. Many times our clients ask us, can you dry my wood floors? Right? And so the answer is yes, often, or never. So why can sometimes you dry wood floors and sometimes you can never dry wood floors? Well, the reality is, and I'm going to simplify it very quickly and then I'll explain it. If it's natural, you can dry it. If it's man-made, you cannot. So, what's natural? Natural is hardwood flooring. So this is an example of a solid piece of wood. This piece of wood came from a tree. That tree was grown in its natural environment, which included sun, rain, floods. Water went in and out of this, expand and contract inside this tree naturally through its development and growth. So this natural wood is very, I don't want to use the word easy to dry, but you can dry this natural product. It's God made. Pretty cool, right? So then in the middle, let's take it to the other side of the spectrum. So you have natural. Then you have man-made. What's an example of man-made? Example of man-made would be vinyl plank flooring, laminate. All right, this is a good example of a vinyl, very pretty, right? Some people put on the floor, they wouldn't even know that it wasn't real hardwood floor. Look at this, it's got a foam backing to it, right? So when you put this down on your property and water leaks, and it gets in between the seams and it gets underneath this floor, how do you get it out? There's no way to extract the water out through the vinyl planking, through laminate, etc. So this is man-made. It doesn't matter if the manufacturer is telling you it's waterproof. What they mean is that the material itself is waterproof, but if the water gets out underneath it, you still need to remove it in order to dry the property. Now, if I can show you right here, look at this. This is how it's clipped together. Those are very, 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 very easy to break. And so even though it's waterproof, if you get water underneath this, you're gonna need to take it apart. And you have to be very, very careful to not break this. Sometimes as careful as you can be, these little locking pieces can still break. So on one side of the spectrum, you have natural. Yes, you can dry this. On the other side of the spectrum, you have man-made. Plastics, glues, all that fun stuff, right? This can never be dried. Then in the middle, what do you have in the middle? You have what most people have if they have wood floors, because at the end of the day, most people are not putting true hardwood floors in, where it's a solid piece of wood. What they do is it's called engineered wood. And on this engineered wood, you have basically, I'm going to simplify and call it a plywood bottom. If you see this plywood here, it's got layers that have been composited together with glues, etc. So there's a man-made aspect of this piece of wood. So when you add those additives to the wood floor, it makes it more difficult to dry. It doesn't mean you can't dry it. So when you have an engineered wood floor, you've got a piece of plywood, a piece of man-made, partially man-made product. And then they put a veneer, 4 millimeters. The more expensive the floor is, the more millimeter veneer finish on top. And that is going to be a natural piece of wood on top, okay? And so this here is called engineered wood floor, right in the middle. Yeah, I would say often. We typically are going to be drying those in place about 60% of the time. Even at 60% of the time, it is cost effective to the property owner to dry those floors. Not just from the drying expense, but also the repairs, also moving contents. Many times if you're removing floors, you've got to move contents out for the entire property. You might have to be displaced. The property might become unlivable. So it still makes economic sense to try to dry those engineered wood floors in place. So, to summarize it all, if it is man-made, it is very difficult, basically let's call it impossible to dry in place. If it is natural, God-made, sun, rain, all that fun stuff, you can dry that floor. And then if it is an engineered floor, which it has aspects of it that are man-made and aspects of it are natural, those oftentimes you can also dry in place. So thank you, Christian Rovsek from Service First Restoration. And we're here to make sure that you get your property restored and get your life back to normal. Thank you.